Hello children, I'm here again with the second part of the video. In the previous part, we have learned about that the animals and the human beings they are consist of bones. These bones are joining each other to form joints, and these joints allow movement to the body. The bone do not move by themselves, they are pulled by the muscles along with the help of cartilages. So how do other animals move? And in this video we will be discussing about if the bones and muscles are required, then how do earthworm or a snail move? Because they do not have a framework of bone called skeleton. But how do they move? So in this part of the video we will be discussing about that. Children, be ready with your pencils so that you could underline the important topics wherever required by pausing the video. Gait of animals means movement of animals. In the previous part, we have discussed that a framework of bone is required, the muscles are required, the cartilages are required for allowing movement of the body. So, in this topic, we will be discussing how the earthworm moves even if it doesn't have a bony structure called skeleton. Let us see. Here is an activity. Observe an earthworm moving on soil in the garden. Gently lift it up and place it on a piece of blotting or filter paper. Observe its movement. This is figure number 8.18. As you can see, the earthworm is showing movement like this. Then place it on a smooth glass plate or any slippery surface. You can place it on a steel plate also, which is slippery. Observe its movement now. Is it different from that on the paper? Yes. On the paper, because the surface was not so slippery, the earthworm is showing the movement like this, and when it is placed on a glass plate, it shows the movement like this. The body of an earthworm is made up of many rings joined end to end. As you can see in the picture also, the body of the earthworm is made up of many rings which are joined end to end. And earthworm does not have bones. The earthworm does not have bones. It has muscles which help to extend and shorten the body. During the movement, the earthworm first extends the front part of the body. As you can see, the head part. The body of the earthworm is divided into three parts: the head, the thorax, and the body. Head, thorax, and body. Head, the uppermost part, topmost part of the body. Thorax means the neck area, and the lower part. So during movement, the earthworm first extends the front part of the body, as you can see in the picture, keeping the rear portion fixed to the ground. Rear portion means back portion. It is fixed to the ground, as you can see in the picture also. Then it fixes the front part. After that, it fixes the front part and pulls the See, this is the normal earthworm. When it is trying to move, it is pushing the front part of the body and fixing the rear part, the back part of the body to the ground. And when after that it pulls the back part, then it fixes the front part, then it fixes the end of the front part and releases the rear end. Then it releases the rear end. It then shortens the body. It means contracts the body, shortens the length of the body and pulls the rear end forward and pulls the last portion, the back portion of its body forward. This makes it move forward by small distances. So repeating this means moving the front part, pushing the front part, keeping the rear part fixed at the soil. After that, it fixes the front part, contracts the body, means shorten the length of the body and defects the rear part and pulls it forwards. So with similar repetitions of such muscles expansion and contraction, the earthworm can move through the soil. Its body secretes a slimy substance. Slimy means viscous. Slimy means not so clear and viscous substance to help the movement. Here is a question. How does it fix parts of its body to the ground? Under its body, there are large number of tiny hair-like structures. These tiny hair-like structures are known as bristles. These bristles you can see in your toothbrush. Similar bristles are present. The bristles of the toothbrush are not so tiny, but the body surfaces of the earthworm has very tiny hair-like structures. These structures are known as bristles. Projecting out. The bristles are connected with the muscles. The bristles help to get a good grip on the ground. So when it fixes the rear part of the body, it is the bristles which holds the ground and gives a good grip. The earthworm actually eats its way through the soil. Its body then throws away the undigested part of the material that it eats. This activity of the earthworm makes the soil more useful for plants. So as in the path, while moving in its path, the earthworm eats the things whatever comes in its path. And while moving forward also, it releases the undigested part of the eaten material. And by this process, it loosens the soil and also increases the fertility. Therefore, earthworms are known as farmers' friends. Next is, we will see how a snail moves. Here is an activity. Observe a snail in your garden or in field. Have you seen the rounded structure it carries on its back? As you can see in this figure. This is figure 8.19. Look at the figure in your book. This rounded structure is called shell, and it is the outer skeleton of the snail. We have a skeleton present inside our body, but the snail have skeleton present outside its body. You must have seen while taking rest or when the earthworm faces any danger, it hides itself inside its cell. So this is the outer skeleton, and this type of skeleton which is present outside the body is known as exoskeleton. And the skeleton which is present inside the body which is not visible, it is known as endoskeleton. The skeleton present in the human beings, animals are the endoskeletons. We cannot see it from outside. But the skeleton which is present outside the body, which is visible outside the body, this type of a skeleton is known as exoskeleton. But it is not made of bones. The cell is a single unit and does not help in moving from place to place. It has to be dragged from one place to another. While the earthworm is moving, it drags its outer skeleton along with itself. Now place the snail on a glass plate and watch it. When it starts moving, carefully lift the glass plate along with the snail over your head. Observe its movement from beneath. A thick structure and the head of the snail may come out of the opening in the shell. As you can see, there is a thick structure. This is the head and the rest part of the body which comes out from the opening which is present inside the cell. The thick structure is its foot, which is made up of strong muscles. Now carefully tilt the glass plate. The wavy motion of the foot can be seen. Is this the movement? A snail slow or fast as compared to an earthworm? You can see the earthworm movement of the snail is faster or slower than a earthworm? Yes, of course. The earthworm moves very slowly. The snail moves very slowly. Next topic of discussion is the movement in cockroaches. See, here is the picture of cockroach given. Cockroaches walk and climb as well as they fly in the air. See, as you can see, there are 3 pairs, means total 6 legs, which help the cockroach to walk. The body is covered with a hard outer skeleton, means the cockroaches, the insects also have, the cockroach is a kind of insect, and cockroaches also have exoskeleton. This outer skeleton is made up of number of plates joined together that permits the movement. As you can see, as you will observe the cockroach carefully, you can see this. There are 2 pairs of wings. The wings are present on the outer side of the skeleton, attached to the body just behind the head. The cockroaches have distinct muscles. Those near the legs move the legs for walking, and the body muscles, see, they have different muscles for movement of the legs, and they have different muscles for the movement of their wings. Now we will see the movement in birds. Birds fly in the air and walk on the ground. Some birds like ducks and swans also swim in water. So what are the adaptations? Why human beings not able to fly? Why other animals not able to fly? Because birds have some adaptations. Birds are adapted to aerial mode of life. Birds can fly because their body are well suited, well adapted for flying. Their bones are hollow, means the bones are like a tube. They are empty from inside, which makes their body light. The bones of the hind limbs are typical for walking and perching. Perching means to hold the branch while they are resting on the trees. The bony parts of the forelimbs are modified as wings. As you can see, there is given the skeleton of a bird. The bones are empty, the bones are hollow from inside, which makes their body light. The hind limbs are modified for walking and perching, and the forelimbs are modified into feathers, wings equipped with feathers, which help the bird to fly in the sky. The shoulder bones are strong. The breast bones, the bones attached to the chest, are modified to hold the muscles of flight. The bones present here are modified to hold the muscles which are important for flight, which are used to move the wings up and down. And you must have seen while flying, while moving upward in the direction, birds flap their wings in downward or upward direction. So when the wings come downward, it is known as downstroke, and when the wings go up, it is known as upward stroke. So by giving this repetition of these both upward and downward strokes, bird is able to fly in the sky. Next topic of discussion is the movement in fish. For this you need to do an activity. This is activity number 8. Make a paper boat and put it in the water and push it with one narrow end pointing forward. As you can see here, this is figure 8.22. Did it go into the water easily? Yes. When you will push the water boat like this, it will go into the water easily. But when you will hold the boat sideways, means in a horizontal condition, and push it in the water from the broader side, now you will not be able to move the boat inside the water when you push it from this side. As you can see in the pictures, when you are moving the water boat from the pointed end, it is moving easily, but when you are pushing the boat from the broader end, it is not moving easily in the water. So have you noticed the shape of the boat is somewhat like a fish? As you can see in figure 8.23, the head and the tail of the fish are smaller than the middle part of the body. The body tapers at both the ends, means the body becomes narrower at both the ends, and this shape is known as streamline, in which the head and the tail are narrower than the middle portion of the body. This structure is known as streamlined body, streamlined shape. The shape is such that Water can flow around it easily and allow the fish to move in water. See, this is the structure of the fish. And if the fishes are broader like this, will they able to move in water? No, because when there will be broader like this, when they will be flattened or broader, they will their more surface will come in contact of the water and it will create more resistance. Therefore, the streamlined body, which is pointed at both the ends, is able to cut through the water and helps the fish to move easily in water. The skeleton of the fish is covered with strong muscles. During swimming, muscles from the front part of the body curve to one side and the tail part swings towards the opposite direction. As you can see in the picture also, head is moving in one direction and the tail is moving in opposite direction. The fish forms a curve as shown in figure 8.24. As you can see here, the fish is making a curve in its body. Then quickly the body and the tail curve to the other side. As you can see, this makes a jerk and pushes the body forward. So a series of such jerks make the fish swim ahead. And this is helped by the fins which are present in the tail. The fins which are present, these are the fins. This one and this structure are the fins. These fins help the fish to change the direction. Means they are swinging in opposite direction. As you can see in the picture, the fins at the tail are swinging in opposite direction as compared to the head. And this jerk pushes the body forward. So series of jerk helps the fish to move its body, to pull its body forward in the water. Fishes also have other fins on the body which mainly help them to keep the balance. As the bodily fins, these are the fins present in the body, middle part of the body, they help the fish to make a balance, and the fins present at the tail help the fish to change the direction. And to keep the direction while swimming. Did you ever notice that underwater divers wear fin-like flippers on their feet? You must have seen this in the television to help them move easily in water. These fins, these flippers help to push the water easily, and so that's why underwater divers use flippers. Now next topic of discussion is, how do snakes move? Have you ever seen a snake slither? Slither means to crawl. Does it move in a straight line? Snakes have a long backbone. Snakes have a long backbone, flexible backbone, as you can say. They have many thin muscles. They are connected to each other even though they are far from each other. The backbone, there are muscles even which is present in the tail. It is also connected to the backbone. The muscles are connected to the backbone. Muscles also interconnect the backbone, ribs and skins, and so muscles are present which also interconnect the backbone, the rib cage and the skin. The snake's body curves into many loops. As you can see, it is forming a loop, U-shaped structure. This is called a loop. Each loop of the snake gives it a forward push by pressing against the ground. Since its long body makes many loops and each loop gives this push, the snakes move forward very fast, but they do not move in a straight line. So we have learned about the uses of bones, muscles for the movements of different animals. The characters of NCERT book Paheli and Bujo have many questions in their sacks about the different movements in animals. So you must be having many questions unanswered questions buzzing in your head. ancient Greek philosopher Aristotle, in his book The Gait of Animals, asked himself these kind of questions. So why do different animals have the different parts that they do have, and how do these body parts help animals to move the way they do? What are the similarities and the differences in these body parts between different animals? How many body parts are needed by different animals for moving from one place to another? As I have explained in the beginning of the video, that different animals have different parts engaged for walking or moving from one place to another. So it depends on the part which are involved in movement of the animal. There is difference in the movement in different types of animal also. So in this chapter we have read about bones and cartilages form the skeleton of the human body. It gives the frame and the shape to the body and helps in movement. It also, the framework of bone, that is the skeletal system, it protects the inner delicate organs of the body. The human skeleton comprises the skull, the backbone, ribs and the breastbone, shoulders and the hip bones, and the bones are present in hands and legs. The bones are moved by alternate contractions and relaxations of two sets of muscles. As I have said, one set of muscle when contracts, it pulls the bone. In the same time, the other set of muscle relaxes. The bone joints are of various kinds depending on the nature of joint and the direction of movement they allow. Means different types of joints allow different types of movement. Strong muscles and light bones work together to help the birds fly. As I have said, birds have adapted themselves for aerial mode of life. So they have strong muscles and light bones, means hollow bones which make their body light which help them to fly in the sky. They fly by flapping their wings in upward or downward direction. It is known as upward stroke or downward stroke. Fish swim by forming loops alternately on two sides of the body. Means when the head is moving in right direction, the tail is moving in left direction. Again, when the head is moving in left direction, the tail is moving in right direction. Snakes slithers on the ground by looping sideways. A large number of bones and associated muscles push the body of the snake forward. The body and the legs of cockroaches have hard covering forming an outer skeleton. This type of a skeleton is known as exoskeleton. The muscles of the breast are connected with the three pairs of legs which help them to walk, and the two pairs of wings help the cockroach to fly. Earthworms move by alternate extension and contraction of the body using the muscles. There are tiny hair-like structures present at the lower surface of the body of the earthworm. These hair-like structures are known as bristles. Tiny bristles on the underside of the body help in gripping the ground. Snails move with the help of a muscular foot. So I hope you have understood the chapter well. If you have any doubt, any query, you can write down in the comment section. We will be getting back with your queries. Till then, children, you are requested to complete the activity uploaded in the school website and whatever instructions are given in the school website. Take care. Stay at your home.